Welcome to part 2 of our video. I'm Mr. Gimmeabreakman, Gimmeabreakman, and this is... You caught us in the middle of our dinner. Or lunch? What is this? I don't even know. This is part 2. Part 1 is in the description. In part 1 we discuss what foreigners who live here in Japan find, 5 things that they find that they're that annoy them. In this video we'll discuss the results of a poll of 500 tourists coming to Japan and what annoys them or depresses them about Japan. Okay, so they interviewed, and there'll be a link to the video we're talking about in the description. Okay, number 1 was a question to a Filipino. She said that she loves the convenience stores, but she's annoyed by the pornography, porno magazines. Okay, and she says in her country that, well, Philippines is a very Catholic country, but she says in her country they have a special adult bookstore for the magazines. So she thinks they should do that in Japan. What do you think?
なんでだろうね、それ簡単に買えるでしょ。We can buy easily でしょう。でも私たちわかんない。だって普通でもそれがいつノーマーfor me for me とか
It doesn't bother me at all anymore. I got used to it.
なんだろうね、コンビニで。だってコンビニエンスストアだから It's convenient ね。
If you're horny and you need some sexual magazines, it's convenient. But anyway, so she's against it. But of course, the Philippines is a very Catholic country. It's a very Catholic country. Sometimes Ramen makes gives you a runny nose. You're okay. Okay. So number 2 is a flight attendant, and she's been to countries all over the world. And she's annoyed by the fact that you have to pay for hotels in advance. Which I don't even think about anymore, but that's what I do. I guess you're right.
そうだよ、先にでも先に払わないと後で払うときは何 later? If you pay later, some but
you can complain and bitch and negotiate.
そういうこと。でも they can run away without paying じゃない。If it's later,
so is that why you do it in Japan?
そうかもね。だってツーリストが増えて。
But wait a minute. At a love hotel. Have you ever been to a love hotel?
Yes. 違うか。
You pay afterwards.
After.
Oh, that's interesting. But you know what's I remember about that is that they lock the doors. So you have to pay. You pay before you get out. You have to pay. You put money into a machine or I remember this one place I went to. They had like a tube you put into and it siphons it away like a tube system. But until you pay, they don't unlock the doors. So, but with other hotels in Japan, you pay first. No, wait a minute. When I went to the capsule hotel, I paid afterwards. I think so. I think so.
私東京とか先に払うよ。
No capsule? Yes, after. I paid afterwards.
After? じゃあまあ depends on the hotel ね。でもまあ多いかもね。でも嫌なのね。
But she's a flight attendant.
でもネゴシエートあんまないよ。
So I'm sure she doesn't stay at capsule hotels. What?
ホテルでネゴシエートってそんなにない。
You cannot negotiate at a Japanese hotel. You can't negotiate in Japan at all, pretty much, except flea market.
キャントっていうかまあ。
Nobody does it. Okay. Number 3 is an Italian. And this was interesting, and I agree. I've forgotten about this. One of the most annoying things about trying to get around in Japan is that there are no street names on anything. Right? Street names. So back in the States or any country I've ever been to, and I've been to 23 countries.
だって too many streets, too many narrow streets in Japan.
関係ないそれ。
関係ない。だって全部つけたら大変じゃないなんかそんなの。
関係ない。So, I don't think that has anything to do with them. But I do remember that. I read somewhere, and I don't know if someone looked this up, to prevent bombing or to prevent enemies from being able to navigate around Japan, they don't do it. So if Japan were ever invaded, the enemy would have trouble getting around it. Where are we? I don't know. They'd be lost. But it really makes it a pain in the ass. So you should definitely use your iPhone when you're walking around. Just use your Google Maps or whatever.
なんかやった方がいいね。じゃあ買った方がいいか。作った方がいいね。
So it's really hard to find stuff. So being a taxi driver must be tough.
そうだね。あとワンウェイ多いしね。
No
ワンウ
street
ェイ
names.
ワンウェイワンウェイが多い。
A lot of one-way little streets. So anyway, she's annoyed by this. Okay.
はい。
And
次は。
something that was very interesting is that this is something really weird. For example, there's a street named Showa-dori.
あ、そうそうそう、それね。
So the kanji says Showa-dori. And the romaji, or the alphabet translation, says Showa-dori.
通り。
Dori. So if you don't know what the hell dori is, you're not going to know where you are.
So
Right?
they should be
So it should say avenue.
そう、
Right.
アベニュー、昭和アベニュー or 昭和ストリート。
So 2 or 3 years ago, the government came up with a system. They agreed to change the sign so they say Showa-dori Avenue. So something redundant in Japan, but to make it easier for foreigners to travel around is that words that end in, for example, eki or kawa. Eki means station. So for example, Nagoya Eki, the sign would say Nagoya Eki
ステーション。
Station. So literally, Nagoya Eki Eki, or Nagoya Station Station.
Redundant.
Right? Or Shonai-gawa
ああ、湘
would
南
be
のリバー。
Shonai-gawa River,
リバー。そうそうそうそう。
which literally means Shonai River. So that's what they have to do.
It's not correct Japanese.
It's not correct,
So
but
you should come.
learn Japanese. Take some Japanese lessons from Tomoko Sensei.
Correct Japanese 教えます。はい。
Right? So it's interesting, but because if you were to jump into a taxi and say, "Take me to Showa Avenue or Shonai River," they would know where the hell you were talking about, right? So even Meijo Koen Park or Central Park is Central Park. Anyway, so that's an interesting one and a good complaint.
ね。
Number 4 was kind of stupid, but one complaint foreigners have is that spelling in Japan sucks.
ああ、それはすいません。
And of course, they were British,
ごめんね。
the Queen's English. But they were like they were pointing out signs that were misspelled, and that's it. It's one of the most interesting things to do in Japan. Just walk around and see the bad spelling. I enjoy it. And they pointed it out to some Japanese person, and he wouldn't fix it. So no big deal.
あらね。
I think it's a minor thing, right? But there were some the funny examples. For example, locker room was spelled rocker room, like rocker. And when something is sold
クール
out,
ロッカールーム。クールじゃないですか。
cool. And sold out was spelled soul, as in your soul here, like tamashi, tamashi, your soul. S-O-U-L. So that was funny. Soul out, no soul, right? Okay, so number 5. The United States, an American woman, came to Japan and she really was looking forward to seeing Mount Fuji from the Shinkansen as she went to Kyoto.
ああ。
However, she didn't know that when leaving Tokyo, you have to sit on the right side.
So from Tokyo to Kyoto, right side, you can
And coming
see.
back the opposite side. And no one told her, so they gave her a seat on the left side and she didn't get to see it, so she was pissed off.
でも between the cars,
Yeah.
between the cars, you can see 富士。
Yeah, but sometimes, shogunai, you don't have a choice, right? If they're sold out on the Shinkansen and you want to get somewhere, you may not have a choice. But in that case, just stand between the cars and there's like windows there, and you can just take a picture, whatever you need to do. Take a movie, make your YouTube video, right? So not a big deal. Anyway, that's a minor complaint. Number 6 complaint was from a Swedish person from Sweden,
はい。
who said although the service is very good in Japan, one thing that bothered them was that when you go to a restaurant, you put your bags on the table first,
あ
and then you go order
あ、そう、keep your seat みたいな感
to
じ。
keep your seat, right? And you'll see that a lot in Japan because it's so safe. You actually, I've often seen people just leave their cell phone
そう、置い
right
とく
there,
の。
and they go order and come back, and that's how safe it is. So if anything, it's a positive, not a negative.
まあね。
But they were confused by it or annoyed by it because
Why?
worried by it because in other
Stolen.
countries you'd get ripped off.
Somebody stay.
Yeah, somebody just rip you off to steal your
そうだ
bag.
ね。
So it's something you can do in Japan, but I'm sure that if you're a normal person from any part of the world, it would make you nervous. Okay. Number 7, the last one.
カットしなくていい？
No, it's fine.
マイク。
Why? No, don't worry. It's okay. Number 7, a person from Denmark said all of the streets are very clean. There are no trash cans, and this annoyed him, which is something that regular inhabitants or residents of Japan will notice too. And that's because of terrorism. And then they interviewed a bunch of other people, and they agreed, like British people, Spanish people, I think. And they said, yeah, there's no garbage cans. So there's another common one. But these are just random interviews that they had. When they compiled all the 500 answers, the top 3 complaints of tourists coming to Japan. Number 3 was no garbage cans. Number 2 is you can't use your credit card. So I don't know what kind of advice to give you if you come to Japan. Some of you can't use, well, foreigners may have a problem. So you may have a problem. Bring cash just in case as a backup. Your credit card, make sure, talk to your credit card bank, whatever, your credit card company, make sure you can use your credit card before you come to Japan. But the number 1 complaint was bad Wi-Fi. Which is why you need global Ninja Wi-Fi or global Wi-Fi, which is linked in the description, right? You get a discount if you use my
public Wi-Fi なんだけど
There is public Wi-Fi, but it is shit.
でもツーリストが言うね
Even in Nagoya, like it jumps into, like we have Nagoya Wi-Fi here, but it's not that good, and you have to refresh it like every 30 minutes. You have to re-input some OK code or something. It's really annoying. But now in Sakai, they've started to install Wi-Fi stations, and I haven't tried it. Have you tried it? We should do a video trying it.
あ、そっか、そうだね。前カズとなんかやってたの、ここ Wi-Fi ステーションって言って。ワーク。
It works. So it works. So they do have Wi-Fi in some places. I think McDonald's has Wi-Fi and 7-Eleven has Wi-Fi. Starbucks have, really? Yeah, Starbucks has Wi-Fi. But it's not as common as other countries. So if you want to travel and you don't want any problems, get yourself a rental Wi-Fi, which is something I use. Where's my Wi-Fi? I got a Wi-Fi somewhere. I got a Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is good. You can rent a Wi-Fi. There's a link in the description for that. This whole video was not a commercial for that, but it is something that by chance I didn't realize at the end of it. Something I can actually help you with. You get a discount too. Anyway, those are the 3 biggest problems tourists have coming to Japan. You have it in your phone.
そうなんだよ。だってやっぱりなんかビデオ撮りながらってさ。
I can eat. Look, I'm eating.
全部食べるの。It's difficult to まあでも食べてたからごめんね。皆さんね。でも美味しいよってまで言ってた。美味しいよ。これね。
This place is great.
そう。
And I think this is 950 yen.
そうだね。
For cold ramen, it's pretty good. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. You probably didn't because we ate it. You just got to watch.
ごめんね。でも
うまい。
みんなね、ビクタービクター。
Please check the end of the video. You can see links to the part 1 video if you haven't seen it yet, or in the description too. And of course, please subscribe to Tomoko Sensei on Boitomo 0803. And or subscribe to my channel. But of course, I'm most interested in your input. So please leave us a comment and tell us how you like the video. Give us a thumbs up. And see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.
Bye.